Hello and welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rina Valentin, your host, y Café con Leche, for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, Instagram, FB, y Snapchat at Rina Valentin. At the top of the show, I wanted to mention we have a special ticket giveaway for a ballet this Sunday here in the Bronx. That's right, on Sunday, November 13th at 6 p.m. Canada's Royal Winnipeg Ballet will be performing Bram Stoker's Dracula at Lima Center for the Performing Arts. And guess what? We have tickets to give away. So if you're interested in winning a pair of tickets, you must be the first person to email me. You can email me at rena@bronxnet.org. That's for tickets to Dracula. All right, we'll mention that again a little later in the show. And our first guest is TMI. Touch, Moved, Inspired, and they're hosting their second event to empower and encourage the LGBT community. And storytellers will speak about their first steps into expressing their sexuality. Proceeds from the event go to ASCNYC and Project Stay. And here now to share more, we welcome organizer of TMI, Victor John Villanueva, and one of the storytellers, Brandon Lee. Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank
you. Good morning to you.
Thank you for having us.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, this is really exciting.
I mean, you guys are just moving it along.
We're keeping it moving.
And it's wonderful that you're enrolling first-comers.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Right? Oh, look, he's already nervous. I'm like, I haven't even started.
Yeah. No, it's really all about like sharing stories of people who are having their first time sexual experiences.
Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about TMI first before we talk about the actual event. So then we can share with our viewers how it's actually a welcoming space for the first timers.
Yeah. Yeah, so TMI was started last spring, and we had our first event it was on June 25th. Which was coincidentally my mom's birthday, so it was a great way to honor her memory. And for that event, we brought together 9 speakers, and each of the speakers shared their stories of coming out of the closet. And that was the theme for that event. And that was really inspired by a friend of mine who had been coming out. And as the concept and the idea deepened and got more developed, I thought of it as being a great platform to introduce into the community and working with different members of the community to so-called curate other events and, pick speakers, develop themes together. And so Brandon was one of the sharers or one of the storytellers from the first event. And so he was such a powerful storyteller and such a powerful person in the community. I wanted to reach out to him and see if he wanted to work with me on developing the second event.
So before we move on to Brandon and this next event, I just wanted to know what kind of outcome did you have, I guess, with people coming out of the closet? Were there a lot of new people there, or was this a space where people were familiar with each other and just came together to share? How is it that worked?
Yeah, I mean, it really brought together a lot of disparate parts of not only the Inwood community where we're based, but also different parts of the city. I reached out to people in Inwood as well as to my different friends in different boroughs, and everybody came together and shared different stories. And what was really great to see was that there were people from like different backgrounds. There were people who were African American, there were people who were white, there were people who were Asian, and they all came together to share their stories of coming out of the closet. But what underlined everything is that this human experience, this thing that we're all sharing, really like kept us all bonded.
And when you say human experience, I remember having you on last year, was it?
It was in June.
Yeah, it was this year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it felt like a year.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you back
I missed
on.
you.
Well, I missed you too.
Yeah,
But
I think that's
you're
I
already
know.
back. There you go. But no, I love the work that you do, and especially I recall visiting a conversation that related to someone who had been married for very many years.
Yeah.
And had to come to terms with, I guess.
Yeah, that was my friend Rob, and he was one of the storytellers at the event, and it was a very poignant, emotional time for him that day. And he came with his sisters and his mother, and he really shared from the heart and really I think it was a very profound experience, not only for him, but everybody that was in the room.
And brief, because you're living according to society standards, and
Yeah.
then to be true to yourself
Yeah.
after living behind this mask for so many
Yeah,
years.
we only have one life, you know?
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
we
That's
gotta
it.
live it.
Well, welcome, Brandon.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Obviously, you left some type of
Impression.
You're here with him on air, so share a little bit about yourself and your, I guess, story style or your choice of storytelling.
So last time when Victor hit me up to come be a storyteller, I came and I told the story of my first time, not my first time, my first coming out story. Well, actually, it was when I realized I was gay, which was in a locker room in middle school, and it was a little raunchy, I won't lie.
It was saucy.
It was
a little
saucy?
bit.
It was saucy. It was so
saucy.
good. Yeah, it was saucy.
But
I love these terms.
I had everyone.
Well, at least we're honest.
Right, I had everyone laughing, so that was fine. So when he came to me this time, I was like, okay, so TMI seems to be like a TED Talk. If we go with that, every time he does a TMI, there's a different theme, a different person. I was like, okay, that's an excellent way to do this. What am I going to do? What do I know? I know the Bronx, I know Inwood, and I know gay. How about we do people's first time up here in the Bronx? So what I do is that I'm an HIV tester with New York Presbyterian and the ASC NYC. So I was like, how about I get a couple of my colleagues, people I know, and come talk about their first time. With the point of it being about a little bit about awareness, but
That's
also
great. That's great. That's great. That's a great component. No, it's important. It's important. It's important, and the fact that you actually assist in that area is good.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like, since we'll have people here who know the business of testing and everything, we'll also have a testing on site. So people can tell the stories, and in between stories and breaks, people can go out and be tested.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful stuff. It's great advocacy and really just empowering each other as human beings.
Totally.
As human beings, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the most important part of that, we're all human, and to be honest, if we're doing outreach, it doesn't have to be boring. So, but we all have had sex, so let's
Right.
talk about it, and let's
Right.
make it fun.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and saucy as
Saucy.
Saucy fun.
Raunchy.
You said raunchy, he said saucy. I like
Yeah.
saucy better
I mean,
because he made it a little
He
more
said
colorful.
yeah,
And
we're good with
flavorful.
saucy. TMI is saucy.
It's saucy.
Yeah.
Well, he referred to you as the, I guess, LGBT TED Talk. Wow.
Well, those are
Flattering.
some shoes to live into. All that we can do is really stay true to what we're committed to, which is giving voices to people who might not have voices, really empowering people within the community, creating leaders within the community, specifically people of color, and really sharing who we are as queer people.
Nice. Well said. Do you have any last words before we go?
This time it's going to be maybe a little more saucy.
It's going to be a little more saucy. So how many performers we have? And did you help curate it? Because you said you came up with the concept.
I've been searching all my friends. I was like, who has been telling me juicy stories their whole lives and like just a great storytellers? So I've picked about 6 to 7 people between black gay men to trans women, and they all have a story to tell because we all had a first time, and I'm pretty sure we were all pretty messy.
I couldn't have ended on
Yeah.
a more colorful note.
And I know that you were fond of our logo, so I brought you a T-shirt this time for the TMI, which is a fun logo.
It is
It's a fun logo, so that's for you, Rena.
You remember that?
Wear it with pride.
I do. I
Yep.
will. I will wear it with absolute pride because TMI stands for a few things. All right. So here we go.
Just a
TMI.
couple.
Here we go. Wait, this side. See? Yeah, fun logo. All right. Touch Move inspired event. Well, it's my first time, right? That's the event,
my
right?
first
Okay,
time.
so they wanted me to show it to them. Okay, here we go. That's the T-shirt. Now you understand why I'm going to wear it with pride. And so. You guys, thank you so much for being
Thank you,
here.
Rena.
Thank you for the work that you're doing. I
Yeah.
hope if anyone's interested, they'll reach out to you. I'm going to leave you guys with the information. It's TMI stands for Touch, Move, Inspired. I know you thought it stood for something else. It's my first time. That's the event taking place on Saturday, November 19th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Bread and Yoga, which is located on 5000 Broadway in Manhattan. Go to eventbrite.com to RSVP. And for more information, you can check out their Facebook page, TMI Touch Moved Inspired. All right, there you have it. And so now we're going to shift gears and we're going to talk a little bit about election. It might be over, all right? But legislators, newly elected and re-elected, are fast back at work here and joined with community organizations and advocates for, well, they're in Puerto Rico, for the Somos el Futuro, right? Winter conference in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And BronxNet's Javier Gomez was there, and he sent us the following story. Let's take a look.
Less than 24 hours after results for the general elections shocked the world, the Somos el Futuro, We Are the Future conference took off in San Juan, bringing together New York leadership of all cultural backgrounds.
We view this as an important conference, one that allows us to bring everybody together, the community, the leadership, and touch on very important topics, but more importantly, leave with a game plan for what we need to do. The DREAM Act continues to be a major priority for us. When you look at issues of healthcare, we still have the largest percentage of individuals suffering from illnesses, and we are overrepresented in negative statistics. We have a lot of work to do on a lot of fronts.
The 5-day summit from November 9th through 13th is hosted by the Puerto Rican Hispanic Task Force of the New York State Senate and Assembly. Day 1 started with a day of service hosted by Catholic Charities. They donated food to 200 families in a low-income area.
Our coming here expresses solidarity with some of the people who are suffering. Catholic Charities is pleased to participate in this event because our belief is that both charity and helping people is not limited to merely one neighborhood, one area.
Day 2 offered field workshops about economic development, health inequality, and grassroots. Congressman-elect Adriano Espaillat was present.
There will be tough challenges always as changes begin to occur, but I know that in the middle of all those challenges, we will be able to find a common thread, common solutions, and I think that what we need right now is the input and the activism of communities across the United States and Puerto Rico.
And in spite of the busy schedule, conference participants also took time to network and socialize. Over the next few days, dozens of New York elected officials will stop by Somos el Futuro in San Juan. They remain committed to finding solutions to the most pressing issues affecting local communities. Reporting from San Juan for BronxNet, Javier E. Gomez.
Wow, thank you, Javier. What a beautiful background. We are taking a quick break, but we'll be back with more Open after this.